Hey, what's going on YouTube? Gary here, gzduel, here to bring you guys a deck profile of my Madolche deck. I know, right? Finally, Gary, dude, you've been taking so long on this. I know, guys, I'm sorry. And it's because I've been testing it a lot. I've been testing it with my friends in real life. I've been listening to your suggestions and synthesizing with my own, and I feel like this is pretty good. So if YCS Toronto happened tomorrow, this is what I would be taking, but feel free to drop any more suggestions, or if you see anything that doesn't really work in the deck, feel free to point them out. I've been testing it, but the side deck is still very theory. If you have any side deck suggestions mainly, or some main deck suggestions, I will still be accepting those, and I will give you guys credit for that as well, because you guys are awesome. Now, without further ado, let me get into the deck profile. This might be a pretty long one, because I want to explain a lot of my choices and the card numbers, so bear with me. For the monsters, we have 2 Effect Veiler, 2 Madolche Hoot Cake, 3 Madolche Mageline, 3 Madolche Messenger Lotto, 2 Madolche Mew, 2 Maxie, 2 Swift Scarecrow, TG Striker, 3 TG Werewolf. Spells, we have Book of Moon, Dark Hole, 2 Forbidden Lance, Heavy Storm, Chateau, 2 Chateaus, and 2 Tickets, 3 Mystical Space Typhoon, 2 Night Beam, 2 Pot of Duality. For traps, we have 2 Breakthrough Skills and 2 Royal Decree. In the side deck, we have the 3rd Effect Veiler, the 3rd Maxie, 2 Snowman Eaters, 2 Lightning Vortex, 3 Prohibition, 2 Golem Match, the 3rd Royal Decree, and 3 Soul Drain. In the extra deck, we have the new Catastor, Barkion, Beast, Diamond Dara Wolf, Gaga Cowboy, Gemini Pearl, Levier, the Sea Dragon, 2 MX Saber Invokers, 2 Queen Tiramisu, Maestro Symphony de Jin, Acid Golem, Black Ship of Corn, and also Zenmains. Okay, so I want to talk about the numbers first of all. The new things, I want to talk about the new additions, and then I'll talk about the number adjustment, and I'll talk about the side deck and the extra deck. So the new additions, as you guys can see, are these 2 cards right here, these 2 Breakthrough Skill. My friend was really cool, and he told me, like, Breakthrough Skill, man, it's just a really good card overall. Your Madolche deck hates being controlled, right? Madolche decks hate being controlled by things like Shockmaster, things like Naturia Beast, things like Pleiades. Now, if you have Breakthrough Skill, you have 2 opportunities to stop that. So if your opponent goes for Shockmaster, you go Breakthrough Skill when they use Shockmaster's effect. So you can stop that preemptively like that. Now, if your opponent might go for a Naturia Beast, you can use this card in the graveyard during your turn, negate the effect of Naturia Beast, and you can still use spells. Same thing with Pleiades. Negate the effect of Pleiades, you can still use things. So it's really, really good. It's versatile as a defensive card, so that you can prevent things like Rabbit from going off. You can prevent things like Dragonfly, like Insect or Dragonfly, all that stuff. You can prevent things like the Diva OTK. So Breakthrough Skill is good when it's first used, and it's also good for this deck because you can stop yourself, get out of a control situation. So Breakthrough Skill is good. Plus, Breakthrough Skill activating in the graveyard doesn't really conflict with the Royal Decree face up on the field, so you're free to do that as well. Breakthrough Skill is really also good because you have things in the side deck that discard. So if you have a Lightning Vortex, you can use Lightning Vortex, discard your Breakthrough Skill. Not only do you destroy all the monsters on your opponent's side of the field, you have a Breakthrough Skill in your graveyard, which you can use if the situation demanded it. So Breakthrough Skill, really good addition. Now, Book of Moon, also very good addition, very useful utility card. I've been noticing Book of Moon during the World Championship, the Worlds at Las Vegas. Now, a lot of people are playing this because it definitely helps out. A Dragon Ruler player might be playing this against a Jowgen, and then all of a sudden they can special summon. I might be playing this against Pleiades, all of a sudden I won't get bounced. I might be playing this card against, against, I don't know, random cards, and also it's a quick play, so it's chainable to stuff. It's also really good at disrupting your opponent's plays. Your opponent might try to go for an Exceed, but before they do that, they summon out the second level 7 dragon. You just Book of Moon the first one, and then they can just attack you, I guess, but then during your end phase, that dragon bounces back into the hand, so you slow them down for a turn. You can break up like combo plays. You can break up synchro plays. Synchros are coming back, so Book of Moon is really good. It gets you out of a control situation, so you can play it offensively, and you can play it also defensively. Plus, it's a quick play spell card, so it doesn't really conflict with Royal Decree as well. So really good card overall. recommend playing it a lot. Now let me talk about the other new additions in the extra deck. The Catastor, I've talked about it. Sometimes you just really want to go for a Catastor. It's offensively good, defensively good, and judging by everyone who's playing like Elemental Dragons, people playing Fire Fist, Mermaids, those are like water, fire. So Dark is actually an archetype that's underrated. So if you have a Catastor, it might actually just wreck their decks. It might force them to play things they don't really want to play. Now the third thing I wanted to talk about was Acid Golem versus Fortune Tune. I tried Fortune Tune, guys. I thought it was good at first, and then I realized that since they did not send the monsters back into the deck with a Madolche effect, so you cannot get it back from the Madolche Chateau, but you can still trigger Ticket. But at that point, you really, when you're going for a defensive move, I really just rather go for Zenmaines. Zenmaines survives longer, and it prevents your opponent from attacking it, because Fortune Tune really has low stats. Your opponent might think, oh, it's just cute. I mean, I can attack over it, but it won't really do anything. But if you have Zenmaines on the field, they have to think like 3 steps ahead how to get rid of the Zenmaines. And once they do that, once they overcommit, it helps you set up their field to where they overcommit a lot. And rather than, just attacking your Fortune Tune turn by turn and getting rid of him slowly. So I really choose Zenmaines over Fortune Tune. And I also choose Acid Golem over Fortune Tune because I just need a rank 3 monster that can beat over things. Like my rank 3s are Levier, Invoker, Acid Golem, and Zenmaines. So Levier and Invoker, those are combo pieces, but you need a defensive play like a Zenmaines, and you need an offensive play to get rid of things like when your opponent has really low life points and he foolishly summons something in attack mode, you can win games with Acid Golem. So that's why I put Acid Golem. Now, now going into the numbers count, I put Who Kick to 2 following someone's suggestion, and I actually really enjoyed this at 2. You can always search it out with Ticket, and they always cycle through the deck, so you're never running out of them. And it's just when you need it, you can get it, and when you don't need it, you may not necessarily have it in your hand doing nothing. So 2 is a perfect number. So is Mew. 2 is a really good number. I put Madolche to 3 so that I can get access to these 2 cards whenever I want to. But when you have these 2 cards early game and you just waiting for your combo pieces, they're not doing anything in your hand. That's what I don't like. On the one hand, you want to get all of your combo pieces, but on the other hand, you really want to slow down the game to where you can break the game when your opponent least expects it. So the best thing to do is just put it to 2, and search them out when you need it. So Madolche's back at 3, so is Messenger Gelato, and Messenger Gelato is just really good at 3. Okay, the other number change is Swift Scarecrow. I dropped it down to 2 because I don't feel like the format is going to be heavily reliant on OTKs, because Dragon Rulers are going to get hit a little bit as well. They're going to slow down. Fire Fists are going to slow down. So a lot of decks are slowing down. So OTK play will still happen. Will still try to happen. Like someone may be playing Mirror Match Madolches, and all of a sudden we're dropping Swift Scarecrows on each other. But on the other hand, if you have Maxie, you always should have something to protect yourself with, like maybe a Gorz, maybe a Tragodia. So I chose to run the Swift Scarecrow. It's just really good overall. It helps the deck a lot because it sends a target directly to the graveyard. You take no damage, so Bear doesn't get a plus. So that's why Swift Scarecrow is still in here, but Swift Scarecrow is at 2. Now, going into the side deck. The side deck is a lot of theory. I've been trying to play it against the meta, and I've been losing a lot to decks that are more controlled than I am and more consistent, like gadgets. I hate gadgets. So in order to combat those type of matchups, what I decided to do is to put in more Veilers and Maxies. Veiler would be really good, so your opponent tries to go for something like a Template Goldfish into a gadget, you could just Veiler the Template Goldfish. When they try to search with Gear Frame, Veiler the Gear Frame, it's just really important to do that. Maxie, just overall, it's just a good card against like Tempest Dragonities. They're gonna come into existence, and they're gonna be really good against people windups. Maybe they'll come back. So Maxie still has its place. Two Soul Man-Eaters, it's just really good. It's a level 3 monster. You can exceed with it. It's 1,900 attack, so it'll block things like Neo's Alias and all of those hero monsters. It's really good. It can eat Ophion and all that stuff, so it's still at 2. Lightning Vortex is like the spell counterpart to the Snowman Eater. So your opponent goes into Shockmaster, calls monster effects. You just use Lightning Vortex to destroy their whole field, and they've never seen that coming. The 3 prohibitions, I feel like it's just good in the early meta game because we don't know what's going to be top tier, what's going to be meta. So the best thing to do is to side in against everything. And how do you side in against everything? You get a card that blocks out the best card of their deck. So if you have this against the Tempered Dragoonity player, you can call things like Dragoonity Ducks. If you have this against a Dragon Ruler player, you can call something like Draco Sack. It helps the deck a lot. It helps block out your opponent. You can use it offensively. You know, you can say when you're going into the OTK, you can say, oh, I wanna use Prohibition, and I wanna say Maxie, so your opponent can't activate Maxie on you, or Effect Veiler and all of that stuff, or Gore's Trigodia before you're attacking. So definitely a good card. Definitely good in the early metagame. Now the 2 goes in match because I foresee a lot of people are going to try to OTK, try to special summon a lot of monsters as well. Like, you know, windups are coming back. So, you know, goes in match might slow them down. Dragons might still be relevant, so I put 2 of these. The third Royal Decree because I think the meta is going to slow down a lot. Mirror Force at 3 is going to be encouraging a lot of setting and all that stuff. So the best thing to do is to side in against back row hate. So use back row hate and side in against those decks. Lastly, 3 Soul Drains. I really still like Soul Drain because it one it hurts the Dark World players. 2 it hurts the Dragon Ruler players, and you know, it's just really good card. It doesn't necessarily block out everything. Sometimes you want to have a Madolche monster in your graveyard, so Soul Drain at 3. So if you guys have any other questions or any suggestions, please feel free to drop in the comment section down below. I'd really love to hear it. I'm still trying to make this better. This is not the quote-unquote final version, but this is what I have up to date. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is Gary gzduels signing out.